listening audience, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. My name is Whirl, and I am joined here today by the wonderful, amazing, fantastic, and lovely...
Hello, I'm Mira. I will be playing Sammy Jax today.
who we love very deeply, because both of you are wonderful.
Stop
yeah.
it, you.
I will not stop. I cannot be stopped. It is not within your power to stop me. Accept my love or die by my blade.
I accept your love. How could I not?
Exactly. Okay. So, Sammy, you have recently bought something from a certain friendly lava blob vendor, yes?
Yep. He has indeed.
And what was this something that you bought?
He bought a Lollipop and a Sunshine Splash Drop. Yeah. He bought one of each, because he was curious, and the packaging is pretty.
It is very pretty. It's got good branding and good color design.
His favorite colors. Of course he was
Someone
gonna buy
else's
some.
too. Someone else's too. Anyway, so Sammy, you got this candy, and the Lollipop ended up working really, really well. You had, like, the best night's sleep you've had in ages. It was very tasty.
It was very tasty and very needed, considering the time he's had.
Yeah, you've been having a go of it, Sammy. God bless your soul. But, yeah, you found out, looking at the packaging, looking at the display, that this was not actually a regular item from Glorp's shop. This was not a Glorp brand item, if you will. This was made by somebody else.
Yeah, Sammy's just like, oh, huh, that's cool. Well, Luka's candy shop.
Well, actually, the thing on the this thing on the display said abstract medium candies. That's what the store is called. But
okay,
yeah.
I couldn't remember, honestly.
Yeah. But what are you going to do with this information, Sammy? Why don't you tell the crowd?
Well, he really, really liked both of the candies that he hasn't tried the Sunshine Splash Drop, that one yet. He hasn't tried that one yet, but he really liked the Lollipop one, and he wanted to get more, but he also noticed the limited supply in Glorp's shop. So he was like, I don't want to buy the entire thing.
Yeah, you don't want to buy out all of their stock.
Yeah. Like, Sammy wants other people to get Lollipops and other tasty candy. He's not gonna be a jerk and buy the entire set.
Yeah.
But like
he's a good teen.
But he doesn't really know where abstract medium candy is, so he just kind of is just wandering the city, just keeping it kind of in his metaphorical back pocket of, oh, if I see this shop around Toontown, maybe I can duck my head in and see if I can get some more. He has gold, and he's ready to buy some, splurge on some happiness in a sweet form.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. So, Sammy, as you are doing your wandering, you do... Well, actually, roll me survival.
Okay, that is a +4. 13. He's having a bit of an off day.
Yep, a little bit of a rough go of it. So, Sammy, I think how that works, if you rolled, a 13 in survival, which isn't less than, middle.
Yeah.
So I think how this works is you almost walk right past it. But then you kind of double back because there is a storefront that is decorated in familiar shades of yellow and pink, and the sign over the door says Abstract Medium Candies.
Sammy's shading immediately goes yellow. Because, oh, he did manage to find it. Yay!
Yay!
Does it look open though? Is my question.
The sign is turned to say open.
Okay, good. Because shop's not being open when you want to go in.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, so Sammy is going to go into the shop.
Alright, new environment. You know what that means. Roll me perception.
Okay, let's see what you can perceive, my good boy. A 16. What does a 16 give him?
Okay, a 16's pretty good. So, Sammy, you enter this store and you are floored by just how fucking colorful it is in here. Like, it's not overwhelming neon bleed your eyes out colorful, but it's colorful. Like, every display is full of just rainbows of the most delicious looking candy you have ever seen. And in the back, there is a soda fountain counter. From somewhere in the shop, you can hear like the quiet bubbling of a fountain. As you enter the store, you can hear like a little dingling of a bell. As you know, all the best Toonkind shops have the bell over the door.
Mm-hmm.
And there is somebody standing behind the counter who looks surprised because, it's a little late in the day for customers. And he smiles and says, "Welcome to Abstract Medium Candies. How can I help you?"
Hi, I was wondering if you had more Lollipops. You recently expanded into Glorp's trading post, and I got one, but I don't really want to buy out all of their stock. But they were really, it was really nice and tasty, and I'd like to get more if you have more.
And this guy who's standing behind the counter kind of laughs and says, "Oh, don't worry, kiddo. That's one of our best sellers. Come on. They are over here." And he points over to a display that looks like it's made to look like a stack of pillows, but in the topmost pillow, there's like a bunch of lollipops just kind of nestled into the foam of the pillow.
Sammy's shading just brightens even more because, oh, that's like very lovely display of candy, and also the candy that he wants. It's right there. Yay!
And it's the same price as at Glorp's shop too. It's only 1 GP a piece.
Oh, nice. Sammy, how much gold do you got? Because that's gonna. Okay, let's pull up his equipment. Okay, he has 47 GP. He's probably gonna get at least 10.
Alrighty then.
Just gonna grab 10, and then I'm gonna just roll an investigation check to see if there's anything other candy that kind of stands out to him.
Alrighty.
What does an 8 give him?
An 8? Oh, kiddo, you are kind of just absorbed in this place is cool. Like, you are quite literally a kid in a candy shop right now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you don't pick up on any other, like, specific candies that you think might be interesting. You're just, whoa, everything in here is cool.
He's kind of like, I kind of picture he's just kind of bouncing at this point because, lollipops. More lollipops, yes. Yes. He got lollipops. Bounce. Shading extremely yellow. It's like not quite highlighter, but it's getting there.
Oh, bless his heart. Bless your heart, Sammy.
Um,
Um,
Also, how close is the fountain noise? Do you say did it get closer to his ears at all?
little bit.
Okay.
Because, he had heard it from standing at the door and he walked a little further in, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So Sammy currently has a huge armful of lollipops at this point. They're all kind of just stacked in his arms because he grabbed 10.
The guy behind the counter looks at you and kind of chuckles and says, "Been having trouble sleeping lately?"
Yeah, a lot has
Oh shit,
happened.
Mira, you're
Ah,
you're
Peck.
cutting out. I can't hear you.
It's okay. It's probably because I got too quiet. Am I sounding better now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
He just kind of quietly he goes to rub at the back of his head, but then stops because he realizes that if he does that, he's gonna drop at least a few of these. So he's just kind of he moved, thought better of it, doesn't actually do the motion, and he just kind of nods and is just yeah, I couldn't sleep for a week.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, my 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 boyfriend and I got into a fight, and he said a thing while he was raging that really hurt, and it kind of just morphed into a huge deal.
Okay. Sammy, I'm gonna need you to roll insight because this guy's expression shifts a little bit.
Oh boy, here we go. 16. What does a 16 get him?
Yeah, there is an immediate shift to a look of concern on this guy's face. And he walks over and, or not really walks over, he sits up a little. He had been kind of just leaning on the counter kind of casually, but he sits up a little and looks at you and says, "Are you all right? Do you need me to call someone?"
Wait, no, no, no. I'm okay. His shading has turned gray as he stares at Luka, and he's just no, no. It's fine. It was, we just, we were. It's really complicated. But he didn't actually. He just kind of trails in is thinking, because how do you explain the offense of eat your heart out to a shopkeeper?
How indeed. And I'm sorry, Sammy, the more you try and explain this and can't come up with it, this guy is just looking more and more concerned. Just he's looking concerned and a little protective.
Oh, bless your heart. I love you so much. Sammy's just kind of shuffling in his. He he's. I wasn't supposed to be there, but I ended up being there, and he thought I was gonna take a friend back to a place that wasn't good, and he compared me to a person that that I'm not, and that it I I'm fine. He didn't hurt me. But he's thinking about the fact that Gil had in fact struck Jay, and if Jay hadn't had his shield, it would have hurt Jay, and if Sammy hadn't convinced Gil that he wasn't the type of person who would bring Bondlock back, Gil might have actually hit him.
Yeah. So this person who you do not know, this shopkeeper, kind of leans on his hands a little bit, and he looks you up and down, and he's going to do something, and I want you to actually roll me perception as I roll this.
Okay. Let's see what dice. Oh, Sammy. Oh, buddy. That's a 6.
I mean, you would have advantage, though, because this is
Okay.
something you would be familiar with. I'll explain why in a moment.
12. Please tell me a 12 passes.
12 passes.
Okay.
Wait, what? What is going? Oh, heck.
Uh-oh.
Ugh.
Is DMV being a jerk?
It's not exactly that DMV is being a jerk. It's not on DMV anymore. Hang on, let me just switch over to Chrome.
Oh, dear. I'm just...
Yes, I'm logged in. Stop it. Enter Master's Vault, please.
Gently pats you, Whirl. I'm just thinking about how this all looks from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, like this guy comes in, says he hasn't been able to sleep for a week because he got in a fight with his boyfriend who said something hurtful. There's a certain way that...
Well, also, Sammy mentioned the fact that it was said while this person was raging.
Mm-hmm.
So, just... Oh, Sammy, buddy, you don't even realize what your words are implying.
Don't, kiddo.
He doesn't know. He's so confused right now.
Okay. Let's see. Oh. I think it's just an insight check plus your charisma. Whirl is big dumb and didn't fucking type what the fucking stats are for this.
I gently pat you.
It's like insight plus charisma, so 4, 5, 6, 7. D20 plus 7. 19. So that's an insight check basically.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy, you got a 12. You can feel a familiar sort of magic wash over you, and out the corner of your eye, you see the flicker of the colors that make up your voice as this guy kind of looks you over and asks, this boyfriend of yours, does he do this with any consistency?
No, this was the first time this ever really happened. I mean, we argued before, but that was because I implied some stuff about myself, and he got mad that I was putting myself down, even though it really was true. I didn't want him to get hurt because of me. If he ever saw the person that hurt me, and his hand kind of reaches up to cause like he's got his hands crossed, but like his hand kind of moves to cover his wrist a little.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's just kind of thinking. He's like, I never actually saw him rage before then, but we did talk after everything. It my nightmares honestly were just a lot of traumas compounding into a lot of stuff where I was basically in the shoes of the person who hurt me because he implied that I would, even though he admitted later that he was being a dumbass and his anger got ahead of his common sense because he really can be stupid sometimes. He like yeah, he doesn't think. He's really smart, but he doesn't think a lot.
And the guy sitting behind the counter looks at you, looks at your voice, which he can see, and he kind of softens a little bit because, okay, that's less of a danger sign. That's just, this kid's a teenager, probably has a boyfriend who is also a teenager. Teenagers are idiots sometimes.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Um, but he does ask one last question on the matter and is like, he apologized to you?
Mhm. Yeah. Our other boyfriend had to. I think they had an argument or something. They talked before I got there, and he apologized. It was really nice. He, yeah, he did say he was sorry. It's one of the reasons why I know to call him a dumbass, because he's my dumbass.
Yeah, that's the best kind. And he kind of laughs and says, all right, well, as long as you guys are safe.
Mhm. And I did talk to him about a few things about what I wasn't really comfortable with, but there was also kind of stuff that wasn't really in his control, but yeah, I mean, I talked to him about some stuff, not just stuff that was about the fight. We also talked about stuff. Mhm. Stuff. Because Sammy's not willing to mention the fact that he's dating a villain. And this is his nemesis, and he doesn't want the police involved.
Yeah, that's like a whole nother can of worms.
It's a whole other can of worms that Sammy really doesn't want to open with this very nice shopkeeper who is concerned? Question mark? Sammy's still a little confused about why he's confused. He's concerned.
Because there are certain implications to the words you say, Sammy.
Sammy does not know this. He was 10 when he ran off into the streets.
God bless his soul. Um,
Sammy he tilts his head a little because he did see his voice a bit. And he just is like, I don't know how he would word this because he did notice. But
and he did feel a familiar sort of magic. I will
Yeah.
note that as well.
he felt a familiar sort of magic, and he did see his voice, and he's thinking there's a fountain. He can hear a fountain in the background. He's also felt familiar magic, and he saw his voice. He has a suspicion, but he doesn't know how to ask.
The guy behind the counter will kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, something wrong?
Not really wrong. Is it okay if I put these down on your counter real quick?
Sure, go ahead. I'll get you a bag.
Thank you. Sammy puts the lollipops onto the counter, and he reaches up and fidgets with the holy symbol that he has that is basically working as both a necklace and a pin to his robes. And he just kind of tilts his head a little, and he's just like, excuse me, but, do you Prismatone?
Blink, blink. You know Prismatone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Prismatone. And his voice is very soft but very warm, and his shading is cherry blossom pink with airbrushed rose as he says Prismatone's name.
Hmm. And you see this guy who's sort of up until now been kind of casual, very relaxed, not a whole lot in the way of expression exactly. His face just lights up. Like, you can't see his eyes because for some reason they are hidden under a shadow cast by his hair,
Mm-hmm.
but his entire face just lights up because, hey, somebody knows his patron! And he smiles super bright and says, "Yeah, she's my warlock patron and my best friend."
Oh, 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 oh! And Sammy starts to just flap his hands a little because they're like him. They're like him. It just an immediate. There's not even a shadow. It's just a highlight of yellow as he's staring at this shopkeeper, and he says, she, I, she, I'm a cleric. I'm a cleric of her. You're like me. You're like me. You're like me. And then his eyes start to tear up.
Oh, Christ. And this guy kind of, notices the crying and is like, hey, it's okay, no need to cry about it. And he, walks out from behind the counter, and, you could notice through your tears that, as a matter of fact, this guy uses a cane because it makes sort of a tuck sound against the floor every time he takes a step. And he walks over and he kind of loops an arm around your shoulders and is like, it's all right, no need to cry about it.
I'm not sad. I was the only one in Toontown. I thought I was the only one, and no one. I kept talking about her, and no one really knew who she was, and I was really happy that I met
Baby.
someone else.
Oh, baby. Oh, my goodness. And he's just... Oh, goodness. I'm not going to make you roll insight for this because I think Sammy's a little too swept up to notice, so I'm just going to tell for you and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
This shopkeeper guy, who you still don't know the name of, his expression is just, I would die for this kid. I would actually die for this kid.
I honestly just picture Sammy's got his face mashed into the shopkeeper's chest at this point because person like him, person who also follows Prismatone.
I
Cling.
mean, probably not his chest. Sammy, Luka's shorter than you.
Probably his shoulder then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or wait, no, actually it could be because Sammy's only 6 foot and Luka's 6'3".
Yeah, no, it just kind of chest, shoulder area, the upper part of the chest.
Yeah. And he's just kind of giving you a hug and rubbing your back. He's like, it's okay. You're good. Everything's fine. This is normal.
I'm sorry, Luka. You're gonna have to deal with a Toon that tends to cry when he gets super extremely emotional.
My best friend's cleric just walked into my store. I told them about my friend, and now he's crying.
Very happy tears, mind you. Very happy tears.
Yeah. And,
it's very obviously not sad tears.
I'm gonna roll hammer space. Yeah, Luka, or you don't know his name yet, but he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a white handkerchief, or no, a black handkerchief with rainbow edging, and just kind of wipes at your eyes and is like, there, it's all right. Come on, pull yourself together.
Okay, I'm really happy to meet you, sir. I'm Sammy. What's your
I'm Luka. Pleased to meet you.
name? I'm really happy to meet you, Mr. Luka. I didn't. I really thought I was the only one here. Even though I've been working on a lot of her shrines and trying to fix them because they they're all broken and overgrown, and I don't like that. I don't like that.
Oh. And he like gently pats your shoulder and says, "Well, would you like to see one that's in one piece?"
Sammy looks at Luca and his eyes are shining, not with tears, but of like just like that anime sparkle of yes, of course. He would love to.
And he kind of just steps aside, sets a hand on your back, and leads you over to the back corner of the shop, where there is a fountain made of a familiar sort of dark stone. Um, and the fountain kind of almost looks like a musical instrument, and it sounds like a musical instrument because as the water falls over it, it just makes these soft, gentle blinking sounds. And in sort of an alcove in the back of this fountain, there is a very small statue of Prismatone. And Luca kind of smiles and says, "It's not much, but after everything she's done for me, I figured, well, this ought to be the first thing I build."
Luca, you're getting hugged again.
Luca makes a surprise squeaky toy noise.
Just you have your arms full with a very happy cleric. He's not crying, but he's hugging you very tightly. Like not enough to hurt, but just oh, you can.
I mean, I should probably roll con, because
Yeah, that's fair. But he's trying really hard not to hurt Luca. Like I will say this.
yeah, I know, but it's comedy. Okay, it doesn't hurt a little bit. Like it only hurts a little bit. You could hear like a little bit of a crack, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yep, we're getting a hug now. Okay." And he's just like gently patting the top of Sammy's head, like, "Yep, this is normal." Ow.
Well, Sammy immediately once he hears that, like, let's go, because he didn't want to hurt Luca.
I'm so sorry, Sammy. This man is made of fucking glass.
He's just like, are you okay? Do you need healing spells? I didn't mean to. Oh,
No, kiddo, it's fine. It's fine, sweetheart. I'm fine. And
I'm sorry.
he gently waves you off and is like, I'm fine. It's fine. Don't worry. There's a reason I tend to stick to this role rather than doing adventures, savvy? And he he walks over to one of the displays, picks up a candy, inspects it, unwraps it, and pops it in his mouth, and any damage that would have been done to him is just fixed.
Okay. Sammy's just like he's kind of got his hands up and he's just kind of fiddling with them kind of near his sternum area. He's just kind of like because oh no, I forgot I had barbarian strength. I was so caught up in the euphoria of having another Prismatone follower that I forgot that I have barbarian strength.
I mean, Sammy, you can roll, like, insight or medicine if you want, because you know you were being careful. That shouldn't have hurt him.
This is okay. I'm gonna. What's your higher stat, Sammy? Let's see. Scroll medicine. Well, they're both the same, so I guess. Well, he got a 5. He got a 5.
Your assumption is just that this guy is fragile because he's skinny. Like, he's really skinny.
Sammy,
but
in the back of
that's
his
exactly
head.
You can tell.
Sammy, in the back of his head, suddenly worried that if he suddenly hugs Chifley too hard, he's gonna break a bone. just that comical. Takes one dot, completely connects a different dot.
Oh God, Sammy, I love you. Um, and Luka walks over and takes a seat on the edge of the fountain and is like, "So, how did you meet her?"
I was wandering out past the limits of Toontown, and uh, I found one of her, uh, sanctuary places, I think. But, well, I'd seen her statue a lot while I was wandering around town, and I tended to talk to her a lot, even before I knew that she could actually talk back. Um,
Mm,
but
I'm sure she appreciated that.
she said that when I first met her. Uh, but I was there, and it was getting dark, so I stayed at I went into the sanctuary to just not be out when wild things come out. And well, um, he kind of thinks for a moment because it had been a while and just so much had gone down, and he hasn't forgotten everything, but it's just wow, it's been a
A lot has
time. A
happened.
lot has happened since that day. And like he kind of just shakes his head a little, and he's just like, I everything there was overgrown, and her fountain was clogged with a bit of mud, and I cleaned it, and the fountain started to work, and I'd been talking to her a lot about just stuff. I don't really remember what I was talking to her about anymore, really. Um, but she appeared, and she told me that suppressing my emotions wasn't healthy. And I knew it wasn't healthy, but it's really hard to break through a block of 8 years worth of suppression on your own.
Mm. Yeah, that does sound like it would be a bit of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
doing all right now?
uh yes, he says. Um, feel free to roll insight.
I will warn you, Lucas. Insight is his best proficiency. Where is? I know it's in here somewhere. Insight is +3. Wait, no, it's not his best one. That's weird. I could have sworn it was. Anyway, I need to rework his sheet because I think it might have gone a fucky. That's an 8. Wait. Oh wait, actually, I rolled above a 15 on the songs on the overture ability, so that actually means I get to roll again. Forgot
Okay.
about that bit. Okay, that's a 13. That's not much better.
It passes. Sammy's he's okay now, but there was again just that brief while ago he was definitely not okay. And like he kind of just rubs at his chest for a little bit, and like it's just like he he's okay now, but just this kid's gone through a lot, my dude.
Yeah, Luka takes a look at that and is just like, okay, nope. And he's going to gently nudge Sammy to sit down, and then he's going to walk over behind the soda fountain. And he rummages around back there for a minute, comes back with a cup of what looks like hot chocolate, but is actually quite literally just melted chocolate.
Oh wow.
And he hands that to you.
Sammy blinks and takes a sip, and then just blinks down at the cup because whoa, melted chocolate? What?
Luka does not offer an explanation for why it's melted chocolate and not just hot chocolate.
Sammy just kind of blink, blink, blink. Huh. And his shading is kind of gray, but he just takes another sip because it's chocolate. He's not gonna turn down chocolate, man.
And it's really good chocolate, too.
Just yeah, he just he sips that chocolate and he's just like, hey. A lot has happened since I met her.
I imagine not a lot of it good,
No, I ran into the person who hurt me a little while before Animus, and I didn't know if I was gonna see my brother, or Barkson, or Tally. I didn't know that I was gonna see any of them again. They showed they kept showing me everyone, but it wasn't them. It they it I they found me, and my family found me, and I didn't know that it was them at first because they'd been so good at fooling me to think that it was them, but it wasn't them, and then they'd hurt me about, and that's they hurt me a lot while I was there. It was just a night I was with them, but I got more scars out of it than I ever really wanted. I don't want to see another needle ever again.
And Luka kind of laughs a little bitterly and's like, I can understand that sentiment. But you got out okay. That's what matters.
Yeah.
You got out okay, and you're going to be able to start recovering from it.
I hope so. It doesn't feel like I'm recovering much at all. I still.
Well, that might be because you're getting into fights with your boyfriend. And apparently getting into high emotion situations when what you should be doing is resting.
I don't mean to get into them. I had to rescue Tally and get her. I had to save her. I had to make sure she was okay, and then I had to make sure Gil was okay because he told me he was busy, and then I got a call that said that he'd stolen a prop from a theater, and he hadn't told me about it, so I couldn't actually stop him because that's usually how our thing goes. He gives me a note, and I show up and stop him, and Tifley and I, we found him with his ex. He's a really nice guy, but it all made Gil think that we were gonna stop him, that we were gonna let that crazy theater just hurt another person like they kept doing, and like and Gil said that he implied that I would do the exact same thing that happened to me, and it I think it broke my heart a bit, and he apologized, but it still hurts a little. That even when he was so mad, and I know everything looked bad, but and that like it looked like we were going to take him back, but we weren't. We were. I just wanted to make sure Gil was okay because it was so different from how he was normally acting, and it all just went wrong then. I I didn't. I've never really thought out anything like that. They always just seem to find me.
And he kind of winces and nods and says, "You really need a break, huh, kid?"
Yeah, I guess I do. I sometimes I wish that I was still in Ghibli. That I that we'd ever left to go to the summer cottage, and that none of it had happened. But if none of it had happened, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met Prismatone. I wouldn't have met Gil or Chifley or any of that. But I would have had Miss Nana.
Hmm.
It I don't know if it would have been better, but it seemed simpler when I was little, and all I really had to worry about was going to the cottage in the summer, and then the stupid parties in the summer and being ferried around like. Mm,
And Luka kind of sighs and sits down next to you. And he sort of sets a hand on the fountain's edge and says, "Kid, take it from somebody who's had way too much experience with that kind of thing. It's best not to dwell on it. It's best not to focus on what might have happened if something else had been, because the fact is that whatever could have been, would have been, hell even should have been, isn't. And you've got to deal with what is.
Sammy,
Sure, things might have been easier if you stayed in Ghibli as a kid. Things might have been easier, but but you wouldn't have been the same person you are now. And you wouldn't have had the good that comes with the bad of the shit that's been going on. Yeah?
yeah, I guess. I just. Part of me misses it, but the festivals, being able to sneak out with Miss Nana and going to the festivals, being able to dress in a kimono, getting to eat sweets that I normally wouldn't be able to get, seeing fireworks. I just I miss that. And there's not a lot of Ghibli around here. It's Toontown. Things are always happening in Toontown, and where I grew up, it felt like it was nothing really happened during those times. It was nice.
Hmm.
Sammy's kind of
And
just staring at the literal hot chocolate cup.
hey, you got the pun. Um, and Luca kind of nods because yeah, he gets that, and he just kind of sighs and says, "Homesickness sucks."
is is that what it is? I
Yeah,
I
I mean, I'm no longer a licensed medical professional, but he kind of tilts his head back and says, It's kind of, it's normal to miss where you're from. Even if where you're from did some not great things to you, you miss what you grew up with. You miss the home you had, the people you knew. It can be hard.
The tea here's not the same.
Hmm.
I try to like it, but it's not the same. It's better than not having anything, but I a while back before I met Prismatone or any of that, I wouldn't have been able to even think about having tea. So I guess it's a bit of a step up.
When you mention tea, he blinks a couple seconds and says, "Hang on." And he rummages through his hammer space. I'm going to roll hammer space now. That's a 6. And he pulls out a box of tea and hands it to you.
Sammy takes the tea and he tilts his head. Should I roll anything or
You can if you want, but it's pretty obvious. You can roll perception, I guess.
Okay, let's see what Sammy perceives. 23.
Sammy perceives all. Yeah, Sammy, you're looking at this, and you can tell from the writing on it and the animation style it's drawn in that this is tea from Ghibli.
Sammy's eyes go wide, and he stares at the box, and then up at you, Luka. Stares at the box, then back up at you, and he's just, where did you get this?
And he kind of laughs a little awkwardly and says, well, long story short, my mother was from Ghibli. Or, well, I say she was from there. It's more like she spent most of her time there, but she always made sure I had some on hand because she swore that, it was the only way to have tea and that nowhere else could compare, and, well, I guess keeping it around just became something of a habit.
Oh, I haven't seen this type of tea in a while. He kind of just holds the box to his chest. And I'm just gonna see if... Yeah, no, there are tears in his eyes again.
Bless your soul, Sammy.
Yeah,
And
there are tears.
Luka kind of chuckles because, oh boy, this one's a crier. I mean, he's hardly one to talk. He cries a lot too, but...
Sammy is a crier.
Luka is also a crier. It's just he's kind of been holding it together around Sammy because this is a kid.
Fair enough. Sammy's just like, you gave me tea, and you run a store, and this is his thought process of this person gave him tea he's not seen in a very long time, runs a candy store that has one of his favorite candies right now. This person is also a friggin' follower of his deity that has been forgotten by the mass populace. Luka, he loves you.
I'm gonna say Luka does not pick up on that because Luka has some issues going on with realizing that people love him. He just thinks Sammy's happy.
Oh, Luka, buddy. You're gonna see this kid in your shop continually now. I am just saying this. He is going to be one of your frequent customers.
Well, he can join Primrose.
But yeah, just Sammy is holding this box of tea like he has been given the holy grail of he is like holding this like it is gold. Like he hasn't even put it in his hammer space yet. He's just holding it and hugging it to his heart because nice shopkeeper gave me tea. Nice shopkeeper is very nice.
And Luka kind of laughs and says, "Tell you what, if when that runs out, you can come by and I'll get you some more, all right?"
Really? You would do that?
Of course. And he kind of smiles and says, I'm in the business of selling things that make people happy, and I don't really do it for the money, if you get my drift."
Sammy nods that he can get behind that, and he looks up at you, Luka, and he's just, this kid is very happy, and it looks like he wants to hug you again, but he doesn't want to hurt you, so he's refraining because he doesn't want to hurt.
I mean, that won't stand. Luka just kind of laughs and loops an arm around Sammy and pulls him into a hug.
Sammy just kind of very, very slowly returns the hug and just kind of tucks himself in close. Because, hugs are good, yes.
Oh, Sammy, you precious bean.
Oh, he's so happy right now.
And I'm actually going to roll history on something, because I know Prismatone, and I know Luka, and I know how they talk to each other. So let's see how this goes. 24! That's a 24 on history!
A nat 20.
And Luka kind of blinks, and he looks at you, and he's like, "Oh, you're that Sammy, aren't you?"
Huh? Yeah, what? Huh? What?
You're Prissy's kid, yeah?
Oh. Yeah, she let me call her mom.
And Luka he smiles. It's almost a smirk, but you kind of get the feeling that this guy's design doesn't allow for him to look anything other than soft. So he, gives you a little smile and kind of gives you a hug and is like, "Well, Peck, guess I'm an uncle now."
What? Huh? I have an uncle now? Huh? Sammy's just kind of sitting there stunned.
If you want one.
I've never had an uncle before.
Tell you the truth, neither have I. And I've definitely never had a nephew.
Sammy just kind of tucks himself closer to Luka and he's just... Does that mean we're family now?
If you want to be.
I would like that.
And Luka smiles and gently pats Sammy, and I am just stunned because Mira, on this guy's character sheet, I have that it takes him a while to actually trust people, but also Sammy is baby and a Prismatone follower, and Luka in my head has just been going, I need to protect this one. I need to protect this kid. This is my best friend's kid. I need to protect him. This is my nephew now.
I mean, that is completely valid. And to be fair, Luka's kind of been, protective of Sammy since Sammy opened his mouth and accidentally implicated some things.
Yeah.
I don't think that Sammy was gonna walk out of this without Luka being at least a little bit, I am protective of this one.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't have been able to. You're right.
Sammy just radiates the vibes of must be protected at all costs unless you are an asshole.
Yeah, Sammy is baby, and there is nothing he can do about it. And Luka is not immune to the fact that Sammy is baby.
Sammy is very baby. I
Hmm.
cannot. We both cannot change this. He is baby.
But yeah, congratulations, Sammy. You have acquired uncle.
Do 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 do. Achievement unlocked.
You are a follower of Luka's best friend. Luka will now die for you.
I mean, Sammy will die for Luka. But he would prefer that both of them live instead.
Yeah.
But yes, there is a little barbarian cleric who will throw down to protect the shop.
Bless your soul, Sammy.
And
That may or may not come up in the future. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing with Luka yet.
oh boy, rolls up sleeves. But yes, Sammy would definitely be willing to throw down in the sake of protecting Luka.
Bless him. Yeah, and I mean, Luka's not really one for throwing down, but if Sammy ever needs anything, he only has to, like, come in and ask for help. And I think Luka does tell him that.
Okay, Sammy's just. Throughout this entire conversation, Sammy has just looked so incredibly touched and just gonna do it. Okay, so he kind of looks around at the shop and then he just kind of like, oh, it's a little too out in the open to do what he really, 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 really wants to do. But yeah, because it's a shop. A person could come in, and he's just like, oh, no, the vibes are great, but I don't want to. Little dejected slump.
We can save that for some other time.
Yep. Yeah, just Sammy's just like, oh, okay. I don't feel quite so comfy yet. But he is, I will say, he is a little puddle around right by, like, just kind of leaning up against Luka. Just, this is now my family. I feel extremely comfortable around this person.
You met this person like an hour ago.
He did, and yet, this guy got him to spill a ton of things that he didn't even really realize was bothering him until he opened his mouth and started talking. So,
I mean, Luka is a doctor, so.
so like Sammy he basically spilled his guts at Luka's feet.
And Luka didn't attack him for it, so, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes that's all you need.
That and just follow her Prismatone, instant trust.
Yeah, because, you know, she doesn't take on bad people.
Yep.
But, yeah, congratulations, Sammy. Luka would now die for you.
I'm just thinking though that, oh boy, that might get Sammy in trouble later down the line.
Why?
Because
Mira?
Someone might claim that they're a follower of Prismatone when they're actually not, and Sammy might believe them. That might get him in trouble. Just saying.
I mean, it's pretty easy to tell who's actually a follower of Prismatone and who's not. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. It's not that hard.
Okay, good. Because otherwise I'm just holding up my boy who insta-trust bonds with anybody who says they're associated with Prismatone.
Good God, Sammy. I love you, but you're an idiot.
Exactly! I hold up my boy, and he is a dumbass, Your Honor.
Oh, we love our precious idiot son.
I do too, but instant instant trust bond, and I'm just sitting here going, Sammy, are you? Okay. I guess we're doing this now. Okay.
But I'm not going to use that against him ever because
Good.
I will tell you something. Prismatone followers have a specific vibe. Like, you probably didn't pick up on this when you first entered the shop because, you've never encountered another follower of Prismatone before. But yeah, all Prismatone followers kind of have a certain vibe that you can only really pick up if you know to look for it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Also, it allows for Prismatone followers to just look at each other from across the room and do the Spider-Man meme.
Exactly, and it's also kind of like... It's kind of like when you look at somebody in a shop and you're like, I'm pretty sure you're queer, and I am also queer, and you share a nod of solidarity.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to really add to this.
Yeah, me neither. This is just short and sweet FPS with these two.
Yep, just insta permabond on both sides, I guess.
Luka just confused as to, well, fuck, I guess I have a nephew now.
Like, for Sammy, this is not unusual, but with Luka, out of the norm, confused as peck uncle with contented nephew.
Luka has never had a family besides maybe Marcel before. He is so confused.
Oh my god, as soon as Sammy figures that out, there's... You do know that this is just gonna make Sammy adopt harder?
Oh, Lord. Sammy, please.
It's going to make him adopt harder, and he is going to frequently visit in his free time to make sure that this poor man does not feel lonely.
I mean, Luka doesn't really do loneliness, but he appreciates the company nonetheless.
Sammy's just is going to keep him company because everybody deserves to have some company every once in a while.
I love Sammy so much.
So, yeah, Luka, he's not just there for the sweets anymore.
He's going to get sweets, though. Like, I will say, that's kind of probably an ending scene. Like, Sammy, you came to get lollipops. You leave with, like, a gift basket full of a bunch of different kinds of candies.
You're gonna have to give me a list so I know what to put as an into his inventory.
I will do so. In the DMs, but
yes.
I think that's where we end our FPS.
Yes.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening to this impromptu mess. Everybody say goodbye to the listeners.
Bye.
Goodbye, listeners!